Good evening to you, snooker fans, and welcome to this first 15 Red podcast of 2026. And you're very welcome. And I'm Scott McCarter here in County Tyrone in Northern Ireland, and I'm joined from London. And I'll say Happy New Year to my co-host Kelly Barker. Good evening, Kelly.
Hello, Scott. Happy New Year and all that. I hope you had a nice Christmas time and a bit of a break. May have been a little break from snooker, I don't know, but
Yes.
I feel you've been busy with this quiz book, whatever.
Yes, well, those of you who follow our Facebook page will know I've been putting up a few teasers. I ordered the quiz book just between Christmas and New Year, so I have been amusing myself with that, and there will be a few from it later on to do with the Masters. The Masters will really constitute the main thrust of our episode this evening, but I understand, Kelly, that there's been a bit of Championship League action that we want to at least mention before we get into the real business, if you like.
Yes, professional snooker was back underway on January the 2nd. So the guys really didn't get much time off. We were back with Championship League in Leicester, and Tom Ford and Elliot Slesser have won the first two groups. So they'll be back next month with the winners group. So well done to them. We've also got, it's a very busy week in the calendar because up in Sheffield this week, there's also the German Masters qualifiers and the Welsh Open qualifiers towards the end of this week. So plenty going on. But yes, our main focus is a look ahead, Scott, to the Masters next week. Always one of the great highlights of the season. And the first round draw has thrown up some cracking ties.
Yeah, absolutely superb. Well, of course, the Masters, one of the real historical highlights on the calendar, first played 51 years ago in 1975, believe it or not. Quite extraordinary. Of course, for many years sponsored by Benson and Hedges, but obviously that has gone long ago. And looking forward to a tremendous tournament this year, and we begin with the defending champion.
Yes, Sean Murphy won it in superb style last year. I think anybody who likes watching snooker at all, you can't avoid enjoying the brand of snooker that he plays. And he hit a real purple patch around this time last year, and he did continue it most of the year, to be fair. And so, yes, as defending champion, he's first up on Sunday afternoon against Wu Yize. I'm going to be there for the first 3 days, so I'm really looking forward to this opening match. And Murphy v Wu, Scott, it's a real... There won't be a lot of safety, I don't think, and it'll be a blink and you'll miss it kind of game. Played once before, Murphy won that one, so not a great deal to go on. How do you see it going?
Should you say, if I was advising our friends at TNT for broadcasting that one, don't put Alan McManus in the commentary box because there won't be a lot of safety in that one for him to analyse. Yes, I would expect Sean to come through there. I mean, Wu Yize could just totally blitz him 6-0, you never know. But, you know, what experience you would say Sean's won it twice, he's defending champion. You know, he played, as you say, absolutely superb last year. And there's not much to go on between them. So, you know, it should be I'll say 6-3 Sean for that one.
Yes, I probably agree, actually, something around that figure, 6-3, maybe 6-4. I would like a 6-5 thriller for the first afternoon. That would be nice. And it's Wu's debut as well at the Masters. And, 2,000 fans packed into Ali Pali. I think he could really thrive on that, and I think he's a bit of a crowd favourite as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully he rises to the occasion because it will be one of the great occasions of Wu's career so far. I know he's won his first title this season, so he's very much on the up anyway. But I hope he settles well and feels at home with the Ali Pali crowd because I think they'll really take to him, and he could just thrive if he gets on a bit of a roll. As you say, he's quite capable of winning handsomely against Sean. Sean has been playing well all season again. There is a school of thought that Murphy could do what he did last year and really rip through the draw, really, when he's on his best form. But we'll see how it goes. He was in China very recently for an exhibition with Ding, which seemed to go very well. And I think Mark Allen was there as well. So he's been warming up, as it were, for the tournament. And Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock. Don't go anywhere because I think that could be a real cracker to open proceedings.
Could indeed. Well, yes, I definitely think, experience should tell there, but as you say, they're two very attractive players to watch, so it's definitely a good one to get us started because it's always been the tradition like it is at the Crucible that the champion starts off. But I think it's wise to, in a one table tournament like that, if the defending champion's playing in it, then he should start off.
Yeah, I think when the draw came out as well, and it was Sean against Wu, I think this is such a firecracker of a match as well that I think it's only right that it should start off on the Sunday afternoon. Set the tournament alight, and I think everybody's looking forward to it. So shall we move on?
Yes, who have we got next then? Who's on the Sunday evening?
Well, Sunday evening's match is another good one, although I would hazard a guess it might not be quite as quick, but I think it could be entertaining. We've got Mark Selby up against Zhao Gudong, two titans of match play snooker, as well as obviously we know Selby can pop them off the lampshades when he wants to. He's the recent UK champion, so we know he's been playing very well so far this season. Only player to win 2 titles. And he holds a commanding 9-2 lead over Zhao Gudong in the head-to-head. So everything would point to a Mark Selby win in this one. But on the day, you just never know, do you? Funny things happen.
And also, although Mark has won the Masters 3 times, his recent record has been rather poor. So, he will have a point to prove in the Masters itself, although his form in both the Champion of Champions and right up until his quarter-final defeat in Edinburgh before Christmas, he was on a 12-match winning streak there. So I would expect him to beat Zhao Gudong pretty comfortably, 6-2, I think, there.
We've got a problem here, Scott. We're going to agree to everything. I was thinking 6-2 as well, so I'm going to say 6-3 because Zhao is very, very capable. And the two ranking events he won in the last couple of years, he's played really well. But yes, I expect Selby to win comfortably on the Sunday night. So we'll see on that one, but that's our Sunday sorted, afternoon and evening. On to Monday, and Monday afternoon is a real good one, I think, Scott. Mark Williams against Mark Allen, your local man. How do you see this one?
Well, you and I were discussing off air, and I said there were 2, and we'll come to the other one in a moment, of course, but there were 2 essentially that I could recall, and this was one of them, because, the stats are very similar, really. I think it's like they haven't actually played many best of 11 matches. They've only played two, I think. And, so there's not much to go on there. Obviously, three Masters titles between them. Mark Williams' last Masters, by the way, 23 years ago in 2003. It's quite extraordinary to think of that. And Mark Allen, of course, 2018 champion. So, the sort of paint a very even picture in a sense. I think, the figures I was looking at, I think 13-6 to Allen, but there's not much to go on in terms of matches of best of 11 length.
No, they're so evenly matched, these two. It's as you say, it's one of the hardest matches of the rounds to pick a winner from. With a gun at me head, I think I would just slightly favour Mark Allen. I think he had a bit of form in Edinburgh, and I thought he played pretty well there. So just because of that, I'm gonna go with Allen, but it could be 6-5, 6-4 either way. I'm just gonna go 6-4 Allen. I think he might have a run next week.
Well, I'll give Mark Williams an extra free, and I say that decider on the final black sort of territory. But I'll just give it to Mark Allen.
Well, that would be very enjoyable if we do get a decider. We'll see there, but yeah, a cracking game for. I know it's a bit of a cliche at the Masters. We say every game could be a final, but when you get those kind of players meeting in the first round, I think it's going to be cracking, and one of them's got to go home so early. So yeah,
Yes.
we'll all look forward to that one. Monday night, I think is one of the matches that may have just gone under the radar slightly, but I'm really looking forward to it. World champion Zhao Tong against Gary Wilson. Two players who are quite similar in style, I think. I know Zhao is the more natural player, world champion, so he's done it on the biggest stage. But Gary is capable of beating anybody, I think. How do you see this one?
Well, I would say that of the two of them, choosing Tong is the more, shall we say, aesthetically pleasing, to use one of Phil Yates's favourite phrases. Uh, but no, very evenly matched again, these two, I think, and very hard to call. But, because Jousing Tong, although he did win that invitational thing in Saudi, hasn't quite, put on as world champion yet. So the Masters might just be the thing to inspire him. But then I thought Gary Wilson played reasonably well in the Championship League over the last couple of days.
He has, and there's no better match practice than the Championship League, is there, leading up to the Masters? I'm a little surprised that a few more didn't take the opportunity to go into the league and play a few practice matches leading up to it. I think Zhao Tong actually does play in the Championship League in the next group that maybe starts tomorrow.
Yep.
Yes. And I think Neil Robertson might be in the next group as well. So there's some tasty Championship League snooker coming up before the Masters.
And Kyron as
well.
And
Kyron. So yes, I think that group. I've been watching the German Masters qualifiers mostly today, but I think when that super group starts in the league, I think I'll have to be turning over back to watch that.
Indeed. What's the head numbers, by the way?
Gary and Jing Tong, they haven't actually played that much, 5 times, but if memory serves me right, I think all their matches came sort of 2022-ish or earlier. I think they've not really met in recent times. So, and Gary actually leads 4-1, but the matches were before Zhao became what he is today. So I don't think that's too much to go on. I think I do believe there could be a bit of an upset though in this one, and I'm going to say Gary might win this 6-3, 6-4.
I had to agree with you. I know I said that this might be just the thing to inspire Josing Paul, but no, he has proved himself rather vulnerable in opening rounds this season. So I think you could be right there. I know you say we're going to agree on everything, but Sword Gary probably sounds about right.
Well, I mean, I think we could be sat here the day after the final reviewing the tournament, and Zhao could easily win it, and we'll have a bit of egg on our faces. But yeah, I'm just going to favour Gary very slightly. But I think Zhao is a little bit like Ronnie or any of the top players when they're playing well. He's an asset to have in the tournament, and we'd want him to be playing well and see him at his best. But
Yeah.
just on this occasion, I'm just going to stick my neck out and go for Gary Wilson in that one. But speaking of Kyron, we move on to Tuesday's matches, and Kyron plays Si Jiahui, which I think is another tasty tie. Scott. I think this could go either way, really, depending who turns up with some form. Interestingly, Si is in the Championship League today.
Yep.
So he's getting his practice in. Kyron's to come in the next group, as we've said. The head-to-head is 6-1 to Kyron, so he's generally had the better of it. And I do think he'll win again with this one. I'm going to go Kyron 6-3 probably. So yeah, it's not the one. It's not one of the matches I've sort of got down as a 6-5.
So
What could easily be
oh well, I mean,
comfortably with.
well, I was just going to say that I think, to be honest, that Kyron will probably win that 6-1. I'm going to say pretty obviously there because
Sorry, Scott, I seem to have lost it there.
oh, sorry about that. I would just say that Kyron, I think, will win that fairly easily, 6-1. I think because in terms of the head to head, there's not much, but also there's not very much encouragement that Si Jiahui gives me in today's Championship League group. I seem to have lost Kelly for the moment, but she doesn't, or it doesn't appear that Si Jiahui will give us much encouragement in that regard for the match against Kyron. Moving on then, we've got I think Kelly's back with me.
I'm back with you there, Scott. Sorry about that. I think it might have been the connection. But if you've done the Kyron match, the next match on the Tuesday night was John Higgins against Barry Hawkins, which another one that's pretty close to call, I think.
Pretty much so. Now, John's Masters record is very, very odd indeed because he's won twice, but I think this will be his 31st appearance, and I think the previous 30 he's lost in the first round 16 times. So it's very odd.
Yeah. It's an incredible stat, really, isn't it? For such a legend who's done everything in the game. I mean, most people would be, overjoyed to have two Masters titles under their belt, and everything else is done. But just in this tournament, he's never quite gelled with it somehow. And again, like we always say, every match could be a final of the Masters, and he must have had a lot of tricky ties over the years. I mean, last year he lost in the first round. That incredible match to Robertson from 5-1 up and lost 6-5. So that would have been a bit of a heartbreaker last year. He'll be hoping he'll be hoping things turn around a bit this year. Plays Barry Hawkins. When Barry's playing well, he's as good as anybody around. So I think this could be a very close one. I think this might go deep into the evening, 6-4, 6-5 either way, but I'm not sure which way.
Well, as a John fan as I am, I'm going to actually give that to Barry 6-4, I think, because I just think that John and the Masters, it's 20 years from he last won it, and we'll come back to his last win as one of our questions in a moment. But just it being 20 years, he hasn't it's quite happened for him. He's lost in the first round each the last 3 years. But I think Barry Hawkins might just be a bit too far for him in terms of Masters pedigree himself. I mean, Barry has been to a Masters final. Actually, I think Barry was the best player in the Masters in 2016. He just ran into O'Sullivan in tremendous form in the
Yeah.
final. But
and I think Barry lost a Masters final to Neil Robertson a few years later as well. So two finals in this tournament he's been in.
Yes,
so yeah,
2022 that was.
So he's got a good pedigree in this tournament, and he's been there and done most things, even if he hasn't got all the trophies. I'm inclined to agree with you that Hawkins could well take this one. I'm gonna go for our decider, Scott. I'm gonna go 6-5 to Barry, but like with Zhao Xing we could easily be watching John Higgins win the trophy next Sunday because he's still a class act, and it's really one to look forward to. That is, I think it's very, very, very close to call. But yeah, just gonna go with Barry.
I think so. Head to head 9-5, I think.
Yes. So Higgins does have the advantage on that one. So yeah, maybe we should be making more of a case for John, but that's the way it goes. It's who cares really what we think? What do we know? But it'll be interesting to see how many we get right by the time the first round's done with.
Indeed. Who we got then on the Wednesday afternoon, I think? Or
yes,
Tuesday?
Well, the Higgins-Hawkins was the Tuesday evening game. Wednesday, for the last set of first rounders, it's a bumper day, and it's Judd Trump against Ding in the afternoon. These two have had some belters before, and they actually met in the quarterfinals last year here, which Trump played really well to beat Ding. So this should be this all points to being another really good game, hopefully. Trump leads the head-to-head 11-7, but on their day, I don't think that's so much to go on because Ding's still, he's Ding Junhui, and if he plays his best. It'll be interesting to see how if Judd has practiced too much. He hasn't come over for the Championship League this week. He probably can't stand the cold now he's living it up in Dubai. But I'm sure he's done some practice and he'll come hopefully as prepared as possible. You always do tend to favour Judd most of the time, but I just think he's on a bit of a not downward curve in his career. That would be a bit strong because I'd love him to win it this week, but I just think he's lost a few finals recently, and maybe he'll come back and win one soon. Hopefully, this one. Something tells me that Ding might just do it, though. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm a great Judd Trump fan, but I just feel at this moment he might have a disappointment, but I hope not. But I'm going to go Ding 6-4.
Yes, I'm actually going to go ding, but give Judd a frame less. I'm going to go ding 6-3 there because I agree with you, and I think that Ding might have a little bit too much for him. There's an interesting stat about this, how often this has happened, but they haven't played since they played each other in the UK quarter final. Towards the end of last year, because they didn't play in Scotland or in the shootout, and they're not playing each other in the Championship League. So it's interesting. How many times has that happened in history that consecutive matches are against each other? I wonder. But we'll have to look through
Yeah,
the stats for that.
well,
Uh,
I do remember a few years back. I think was it the year Ronnie beat Ding in the UK final, and then they got drawn together. I think in the Masters, and neither of them played at all in between. So I think that was one time.
uh,
But yeah, it probably doesn't happen too often because these days there isn't much break in between tournaments, is there? I do remember, just off the top of my head, I do remember last season. Um, do you remember when Neil Robertson beat Stuart Bingham in the Grand Prix final? And I think the very next tournament they went to, which was maybe the Players' Championship, they played each other in round one there. So yeah, I think when you've just come off a defeat against someone, the last person you want to see in the first round at the next tournament is that player. But there we go, and I'm sure it'll be a really good match, Trump and Ding. Look forward to that one.
yes, I mean they've played some belters over the years. I mean the one that always sticks out in my mind is 2011, that Crucible semi-final. They were
That,
absolutely superb in that one.
oh, that was one of the all-time greats. I think I've not recently, but I did go back. I think all that match is on YouTube, and I did go back and watch it all once because it was just crazy attacking snooker from two young guns. They were both young at the time, and yeah, it was a wonderful semi-final. That's the one I remember most of those two as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
they have had a few belters over the years.
yeah,
Speaking of belters,
yeah.
let's go to Wednesday night and the final tie of the round. Now, we assume he is going to play the Masters next week. He's been in Ireland this week doing some
Yeah.
practice with Jordan Brown, no less.
So
Neil
that,
Robertson, Neil Robertson against Ronnie O'Sullivan. This isn't a bad little match to finish the first round, Scott.
no, I mean, 1913 to O'Sullivan on the head there. That's kind of a rivalry, I think, that goes rather underreported because, we don't tend to think of them as rivals, but I mean, they've produced some belters over the years. This is the other one that I mentioned there were two that were hard to call. This is the other one. I mean, because first of all, we don't know if Ronnie's going to play, but then secondly, if he does, I mean, either he could turn up and win 6-0 in an hour, Neil could do the same thing, or it could be a 6-5 thriller on the final black. So, like, who knows? I think just on the fact that Neil has been playing a lot, I'll give it to Neil 6-4, just because we don't know what Ronnie's going to be like. But, we could have egg on our faces at the end of that one.
I agree, actually. I mean, we say we don't know whether Ronnie is going to turn up. We won't know that until he walks into the arena. But I do think that he will turn up. I really do. The fact that he's in Ireland rather than back in Dubai, and
Yeah.
also that apparently Ronnie requested a later start in the week at the Masters, and he's got it. He's got the latest start possible. So I think all in all, I think he will turn up, and I agree with you that I think Robertson is a favourite, and I'm going to make him sort of 6-4-ish. I'll say 6-4. But I think Ronnie, if he's been putting this good practice in this week in Ireland, he obviously enjoys it over there. Um, he really, this could be the launch pad for his season, really, because apart from making that Saudi final where he lost only on the final frame to Neil Robertson, well, he'll
Yep,
be looking for a modicum of revenge, I think.
yep.
But yeah, I think that's a real belting game for the first round, and what a day Wednesday's going to be, and what a first round overall.
Yeah.
It's always like we say, it's a superb tournament. One word, Scott. Who's going to win it?
Oh, well, without my normal bias for Mark, what you would expect, of course, I'm gonna go for the. I'm gonna say the winner of O'Sullivan Robertson wins it.
Oh, well, that's a good call, actually. I think if Ronnie does win that first rounder, he'll feel on a roll then, and he could feel inspired again by the big crowd. They'll all be on his side, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And although I've gone for Ding to upset Trump, I think if Trump does get through Ding, I think he could easily win. Well, not easily. Nobody's easily going to win it, but you could make a case for out of the 16 players. I think you could make a really good case for at least 10 of them. So yeah, it's going to be a week to look forward to, Scott, and we'll report back afterwards.
Indeed, we will. It's going to be a tremendous week. It always is, particularly that Wednesday, as you say. I mean, that's going to be tremendous. But the moment of truth has arrived. I
Oh,
have I have two questions for you from the WST quiz book. They're both related to the Masters, of course. And the first one of them is this. In what year did Steve Davis make his last Masters appearance? In what year did Steve Davis make his last Masters appearance? And then the second question, what was the break that John made to win the decider 20 years ago in 2006 against O'Sullivan? So what was John's winning break in 2006? And what year did Steve make his last appearance?
well, I'm sure that's going to be lots for the viewers to ponder over the next week or so. So yeah, and get your thinking caps on, guys.
Uh, Now, we should, of course, thank Dave Hampton for compiling these questions. I mean, there are some absolutely fiendish ones in here, Kelly. I was saying to you off air, there's some that even taxed me, which, as you know, is quite a challenge at times to 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 make me think, if you like.
Absolutely. I can imagine you only need to go straight to the black ball questions, Scott. Anyone who hasn't got the book, it's through the colours. The red ball is supposedly easy, and the challenge as you go through the colours, and pink and black are the toughest. So I reckon only the black ball will give you some challenge, Scott.
Yeah, uh, maybe in the off season we'll have to get some sort of quiz going between ourselves, but we'll leave that maybe for the off season. Um,
Maybe so, yes. That would be something good snookery during the off season, as short as it is these days.
Indeed, yes, and also on our next episode, because we have to wrap up now shortly, but on our next episode, you will have some news for us as per your own uh, activities on the beers in the next few months.
Oh yes, I'm very excited. I won't go into it too much now, but just to say that I've entered the Ladies British Open ranking tournament. So I'm quite excited about that. I've bought a waistcoat over the last few weeks, so I'll at least look the part of a snooker player, even if me form isn't what a player should be.
Yeah,
But maybe when I'm at the Masters watching the really good players up close, then maybe I'll get a few tips from them.
and big day. And by the way, just before we go, we should, of course, mention the man the trophy's named after at the Masters, the man we all very sadly miss, but particularly think of at this time of year, the late great Paul Hunter, who won his last Masters title 22 years ago. Quite extraordinary. What a man.
Absolutely, Scott. I remember his finals like it was yesterday because they were all such tremendous comebacks from 7-2 down. And, he was such a great young lad who had he loved life and it was terrible that it was all so cut short for him. But what a mark he left on the game, and it's so apt that the Masters Trophy is named in his honour. So yes, next week we'll remember him as we always do.
Anything. So enjoy the Masters, everyone, and God willing, Kelly and I will be back to review it once everything has been completed. So bye for now, everyone.
Bye, folks. Enjoy the tournament.
No,